have shed, we remember them today. First of all, let me take this opportunity to thank you. To thank all the comrades in the banking industry and members of your bank in particular. In 1950s and 60s, we were importing food. The United States was giving us under PL 480 food, wheat flour and oil. We were looking at the harbor. When will the next ship arrive from the United States? Wheat flour was taken and distributed among the poor in this country. We were leading hand to mouth, now ship to mouth life. Our people were hungry. In 1965-66, we had one of the worst famines in independent India. Our children would not go to schools. They used to visit one ration shop and the other to buy 1 kilo of rice. What kind of rice? Blue, green, yellow, stinking, nasty rice. But that was not available. To buy that, children were sent to various shops to collect that. Tamil Nadu, Gujarat, Bihar experienced the worst droughts. And we were getting food from the United States. Shameful days. Today, in our Food Corporation of India godowns, we have 40 to 50 million tons of food, surplus, excess. Okay? We are exporting wheat, we are exporting rice. In fact, we have overtaken other countries like Thailand in the export of rice. You know, the credit goes to whom? The credit goes to you. If this country has become surplus in food, number one in the production of fruits and vegetables, thanks to you. 66, 67, Indira, our Prime Minister Indira, C. Subramaniam, M.S. Swaminathan and others started this green revolution process along with M.S. Swaminathan. Of course, now we find a lot of defects in that. I am not talking about that. When green revolution was started, we had short-term varieties. You can have the harvest in 3 months. In UP, in Haryana, in Punjab, in Tamil Nadu, food production went up. Permanently starvation was stalled. Deficit was eliminated. We stopped importing foods, food grains. Thanks to our farmers, thanks to our scientists, and thanks to our bank employees. Because you gave the loans, crop loans, short-term loans, long-term loans. You gave the financial support. The scientists gave the technological support along with Norman Borlaug. The financial support came from the banking sector. In 1969, July 19th, banks were nationalized. One of the objectives of nationalization was to finance agriculture, to strengthen agriculture, to empower the farmers, to eliminate the problems. By long back in 1920s, when the British government appointed a commission, Royal Commission, to study the debt conditions of the farmers, there was a report. Finally, the commission said, Indian farmer is born in debt, he lives in debt, he dies in debt, he bequeaths debt to the next generation. Farming community was in the hands of the moneylenders, in the clutches of the moneylenders. At the rate of 3%, 4% per month, per annum 36% to 48%. Whatever the farmers earned, a substantial portion went away as interest. And you saved them, you liberated them. If there is some prosperity in the country, in spite of all the defects, if Green Revolution has solved some of our problems, if our farmers have become rich, in fact, if our industries today depend more and more on the rural market, in fact, many of our industries, consumer goods industries, depend on rural market. For all that, at the roots, you find increase in agricultural production supported by the bankers. I thank you for that. Today, India is no more a food importer. You should understand the seriousness of it. In 1970, there was a conference of agriculture scientists in Rome. FAO, Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations organized it. Top scientists in the world assembled there in 1970. You know what they predicted? In the year 2000, there will be no food available in India. Therefore, Indians will be fighting on the road. Indians will be killing each other on the road for food. That situation has not happened. Now 2015, we are quite comfortable. Not that all our problems are solved, but we are better off today. Those scientists were wrong. FAO scientists were wrong. And they have been proved to be wrong by you, comrades. Whenever you sanction agriculture loan, a crop loan, a loan for buying land, whenever you support, whenever you put a signature, whenever you solve the problems of the agriculturists, you have solved the problem of hunger, the problem of malnutrition, the problem of poverty. You are responsible for whatever prosperity that we have in the rural areas. I have come here only to thank you and to appreciate you. Even today, we need 2 crore homes. We need 20 million homes all over the country to rehabilitate people who are on the platforms, on the roads, in the slums. We need 20 million homes. But imagine 50 years back, owning a home was unthinkable. Even after working for 30, 40 years, people could not save money to buy a home. If you had a home, it was a luxury. That was transformed. Today, every employee, a teacher, a government employee, a bank employee, an insurance employee, an employee in the private sector is able to own. In fact, our children at the age of 30, 35, they own already one house. It's because of you. When you have given home loans at very low interest rates, they are able to buy homes and they pay for the next 10 years, 20 years their EMIs. So you have made them owners of homes. You have given them identity. You have given them confidence. It's because of you. Whenever you sanction a home loan, you are probably accommodating somebody from the street into a respectable place. A home is a symbol of dignity, and you are giving dignity to the people of this country. Whenever you finance a small-scale industry, whenever you finance a large-scale industry, you are creating employment. So far I thought only the managements were creating employment, only the industries were creating employment, only the government was creating employment. After listening to Comrade Patel, now I understand trade unions have started creating employment. Remarkable. Okay. That's the role you are having it. You are becoming the creators of the wealth. You have a very important role to play. Your unions are not there just to get you a few more rupees. I know. Now you are getting a fatter pay. You are getting increase in your emoluments. You are more comfortable after long struggles of the last few years by your leaders. You are fortunate to have wonderful leaders like C.H. Venkatachalam. Okay? Your moment is fortunate. We have such efficient, such visionary, such hardworking leaders. I have not seen him taking leave even for one day in the last 15-20 years that I know him. You have under such leadership, with great deal of sacrifice, you are solving the problems of poverty. You are solving the problems of homelessness. You are solving the problems of the farmers. You are solving the problems of the small-scale industrialists. You are promoting industrialization of the country. You are responsible for developing every corner of this country. Thank you very much. In 16th century, 17th century, India was generating 25% of world income. Till 17th century, India was the richest region in the world. Even in 17th century, India was number 1, China was number 2, entire Europe was number 3. The United States was not in the picture at all. Was not in the picture at all. India was the richest country. How? It was a leader in agriculture. It was a leader in agriculture. All over the world, people were looking at India for food. You must have had your breakfast, probably rice. Lunch, probably rice. Supper, probably rice. How many varieties of paddy you think India had? When I addressed the agricultural university professors, they told me India had at least 36,000 varieties of paddy. Not only that. Later on, when I was busy with some research work, I stumbled upon an evidence India had more than 1 lakh varieties of paddy. Recently, I got a research publication, I saw that, where it is said India had 2 lakh varieties of paddy. India was rich. India was rich. Food was available everywhere. Plenty. India was an industrial power. Till recently, the biggest industry in the world was textiles industry. India was a leader in woolen, cotton and silk textiles. Particularly in cotton, it was a global leader. In fact, the rich ladies of Egypt used to wear Indian cloth. Dhaka muslin, the finest in the world, for a long time was exported from India. People in Greece, people in Rome and people in Egypt, they imported Dhaka muslin. That was weightless cloth. 20 yard length and 1 yard breadth could be rolled and kept within your finger ring. The world was hungry to buy Indian products, Indian textiles. People came here, Romans came here. In fact, if you read Tamil epic Silappadigaram, there's a reference made by the author Elango 2000 years back. He says there was Yavanacheri near Pumbuhar. Pumbuhar is near Tanjavur. That Yavanacheri, what's the meaning? Cheri means the place where people live. Yavanargal meant the Greeks. And the Romans also later came and settled there. What were they doing? They were trading, buying goods from India. Buying goods from India. Textiles, spices, gold. Till 1896, India was the only country that was supplying diamond in the world. India was a leader in industries. In fact, even in 10th century, Indian exports were 30% of global exports. Today it's not even 3%. India was a leader. And India was a leader in mathematics. I want the young officers to learn more about India. India was a leader in mathematics. The concept of zero was discovered in India. Arabs came here in the 9th century and 10th century. They learned about zero. They went back, taught their children. Later on, Europeans learned from the Arabs. Later on, they built it. In fact, Einstein said, we owe everything to India and Indians because they taught us how to count. Algebra, calculus, trigonometry would not have developed but for India and Indians. In fact, the formulae for many of the theories were developed in India in mathematics. Astronomy, India was a leader in astronomy. The distance between the sun and the earth was accurately measured. The time taken by the earth to go around the sun was measured by Aryabhatta. 365.25 and all that. This was discovered by the Europeans recently. But Indians told the world long back, 1500 years back, 2000 years back. India was a leader in physics and chemistry. You go to Delhi, go to Qutub Minar, you have 36 feet long iron pillar. Till today there is no rust. It is 1500 years old. There is no rust on that. Because rust means oxide. When sulfur reacts with water, moisture in the atmosphere, you get sulfur dioxide. That sulfur dioxide is called the rust in colloquial language. There is no rust after 1500 years. That means when that iron ore was made or collected and iron pillar was installed, our people removed sulfur particles. That means they had known about sulfur. They had known about sulfur dioxide. Iron was purified and installed. Till today there is no rust. India was a leader in astronomy. India was a leader in mathematics. India was a leader in agriculture. India was a leader in industry. India was a leader in construction. These buildings, with all our engineering knowledge, will be there for 100 years, or 200 years, or maximum 300 years. You take the temples of Tiruchirappalli, Thanjavur, Chidambaram, Chennai, Kanjipuram, and all the other places, and in Gujarat, and in Madhya Pradesh, in Orissa. These temples are 1,000 years old. Some of them are 2,000 years old. What was the knowledge they had? India was a leader in architecture. Those temples are there still strong. Okay? So India was a leader in architecture. India was a leader in philosophy and poetry. Look at poetry. Normally Greek tragedies are supposed to be the best pieces of literature in the world. But if you look at Mahabharata, Mahabharata has 1 lakh verses, sub-stories woven around the central theme. 1 lakh verses, the longest piece of literature in the world. And Tirukkural in Tamil, the shortest poem in the world. Just 1 line and 3/4 of line. Less than 2 lines. Very relevant, very significant. Most powerful words used by Tiruvalluvar 2000 years back. So you tell me any area where India is not a leader. In music, in arts, in painting, in dancing. India is very rich. India has been very rich. So when we talk about India, today when we think of independent India, think of the heritage, think of what you have inherited. The wealth that you have inherited has no parallel in world history. In fact, India is the mother of history, grandmother of traditions, great grandmother of customs. In terms of philosophy, look at the philosophy. There was a great philosopher, saint, a Saiva saint who lived in Chennai 1000 years back. He wrote, "Iyara enbadithai kachi egambane." Dear Lord Shiva, why did you create Mysores? Why? Mysores are the fathers of the thieves. As long as there are Mysores in society, there will be thieves. There will be burglary. To solve this problem, you have to become generous. Those who have got should share it with their neighbors, with the poor, with the less fortunate. The purpose of religion is only one. Go and tell the rich and the middle class who have something, ask them to give it to the poor and solve poverty. All our religions have failed. All our religions have said, give, 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 till it hurts you. But we have not done it. We are more interested in fighting in the name of religion, but we are not willing to follow the philosophies of religions. That is why we have politics. In politics, what is politics? Pass a law, tax the rich, take the money, give it to the poor. 200 years back, in Vadalur near Neyveli, there was another saint by name Loyala, Ramalinga. He said, he should not have a government which is only for power. The government should have mercy for the people. Government should be kind. Government should think of the poor. Government should eliminate poverty. Okay? Even the plants shall not wither away. Men shall not suffer. Women shall not cry. Children shall not have any want. Nobody should suffer in the world. All the resources in the world should be used for the poor. That is the context in which banks were nationalized. Because before 1967, what was the position? What is the rich and English-speaking elites of the community can go to the bank? Only those who have Western dress can walk into the bank, go and talk to the agent and get a loan. That had to be transformed. Thanks to Indira, she nationalized the leading 14 banks. Why? To take to the common man, to open the doors to the common man, to the poorest. Okay? What others could not do, the government did it. And that is the context in which we are talking about your association, your union, your membership, and your leaders. Okay. But this country, the last 300 years, lost its glory, lost its fame, lost its achievements. Think of it. Industrial revolution was introduced in England in 1950, 1750s, 1760s. Steam power was discovered. India did not discover. Railways were introduced. India did not introduce. In the years from 1828 to 1888, electricity was discovered. India did not. Lights were introduced. India did not. Fans were introduced. Cinema was introduced. Cameras were introduced. Telegraph was introduced. Telephone was introduced. Telegram was introduced. India did not develop all these things. 1903, Wright brothers started flying. Aeroplanes came up. India did not do it. 1940, atomic power was discovered. Rudiments of computer science were introduced. 1950, first generation computers. India did not make. 1970, translating machines were introduced. India did not discover. 1980s, mobile phones were introduced. India did not introduce. 1990s, internet was thrown open to public use, commercial use. India did not discover or invent or innovate. 300 years we lost when the Europeans... Thanks to our insurance companies, thanks to every one of you, India is today at the top of the world. Our national income today is $2 trillion per annum. $2 trillion per annum. India is the 10th richest country in the world today. And we have started growing at 8%, 9% per annum. If we grow at 8% per annum, as we have done in the last 10 years, in the next 5 years, India will overtake France, Britain and Germany. If you grow at 8%, in the next 10 years, India will overtake Japan in terms of national income. By 2025, China will be number 1. The United States will be number 2. India will be number 3 in terms of GDP, national income. By 2050, India will overtake the United States and become richer than the United States. By 2060, India will overtake China and become the richest country in the world. By after 2060, India will be the richest country in the world, number 1, as it was in 16th century, as it was in 10th century, as it was in the 1st century. This century belongs to India. This century belongs to India and the Indians. Because we have the largest number of working population in the world. That is the demographic dividend. We have the largest number of young people, young boys and girls. We will have about 60 crore to 70 crore young people. No other country in the world has it. No other country in the world has such an advantage. If all our young people are given the opportunity to work, if they start working honestly and efficiently and intelligently, what I told you will happen. India will be the richest country in the world. Today our national income is $2 trillion, 130 lakh crore rupees. This should become $50 trillion, $60 trillion in the next 50 years. We have to grow at least at 8%. We can grow at 12% per annum. Japan was growing at more than 12% in 60s. Germany was growing at 12% in some part of its history. Now we are struggling for 8 or 9%. Now, what should be done? Invest in the youth, educate the youth. That's the problem. I got a report from the Reuters, London, a few years back. That report says India is one of the most dangerous countries in the world for children to live. Why? Children below 14, 45% of them don't get enough food. 45% of them don't get enough protein. 45% of them do not grow. Their height is less than what it should be. Their weight is less than what it should be. Their IQ is less than what it should be, appropriate to their age. That means we are not taking care of our children, of our young people. In the developed countries, 75% of the young people are going to colleges and universities and polytechnics. In Finland, 88% of young people are in the colleges, in the universities. In South Korea, 85% of the youth are in the colleges and in polytechnics. In India, Not even 20% are going to colleges. Not even 20%. That too in some states it's better, in many states it's worse. Okay? We are not taking care of our children. We have to take care of them. What should we do? Take care of them. One, feed them wherever they are. In your neighborhood, in your street, in your village, in your town. You see children who are starving, go and feed them. Share food with them. Make them strong. Why? Country needs them. We need powerful leaders. Vivekananda said, you be good and you be strong. To be strong, what is that? What did he mean? Be strong. Our youth should be strong physically. Then only they can endure, they can suffer, they can work hard, they can sacrifice. Strengthen our children, strengthen our youth, take care of our school going and college going children. What is the problem today? They are not physically strong. They have to work for the next 40 years for their families and for the country. They are not strong. Take care of them. Even the middle class children are busy with junk food. Advise them. Save our children from their ignorance, from their stupidity, from their prejudices. Okay. Are our children morally upright? Are our children mentally sharp? Are our children emotionally balanced? These are the questions we have to ask. We don't care about them. We think we'll give some money, buy some food, give it to them, let them be busy with the TV. We put them in some college, some school, we forget. No. As a nation, we have to pay attention to our young boys and girls, our children, our youth. They should become physically strong, mentally sharp, morally upright, emotionally balanced, spiritually matured, and socially committed. They should eat well. They should